All right, as you can see here, another different flavor as per usual here on Drive On. Today we have a much different speed than normal. Today we have this little itty bitty tiny speedboat, which I'm pretty excited about. Check this thing out. Let's check it out. So as you can see, this is a tiny little speedboat. Specifically, the reason I got this is because it's a jet boat. This is one of my first experiences with RC boats, so it's been pretty exciting, just discovering a new kind of corner of the hobby as per usual. But this one specifically is called the Pro Boat Sprint Jet 9-inch self-riding deep V boat. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but the thing that I like about this thing is one, its size, but also two, it comes in at sub $100, and you know me and sub $100 RC things that are fun. There's a very high fun per dollar ratio. And if there's a high fun per dollar ratio, you know I'm all about it, and this boat is no exception. So this is coming in from Pro Boat, which is a brand that is owned by Horizon Hobby. And as you all know, Horizon Hobby has been doing really great things the past decade or so, but even more so recently, I feel like their products have been getting to a new level. Now, this boat specifically has been out for a couple years, and I've been eyeballing it. When it first came out, it was actually pretty hard to find, but nowadays it seems like you can pick one up pretty easily. It does seem like it went up in price a little bit. Again, like I said, it's about $85, which isn't too bad, especially considering that it's ready to float, ready to race, ready to, I don't know, whatever you do with a boat. It's ready to run. So it comes with a controller, it comes with a tiny little 600 milliamp 2-cell battery, and it also has a nice little transmitter that I actually like quite a bit because the form factor is just small. For example, I recently got the SCX24 Bronco, and that thing's transmitter is like twice the size of the truck. This one is just a little bit smaller, as you can see here, and it makes it a lot easier to kind of throw this thing in your backpack and take it with you everywhere you go. So quick overview, again, it's $85. It's been out for a couple years, and this is a self-riding boat. If it flips over while it's out in the water, it actually will self-ride itself, which works pretty well from my experiences, and honestly, it hasn't flipped over a ton. It kind of sits real low in the water, and so from just running it, I actually haven't flipped it. Beyond that, it has jet pump performance. So basically what that means is this is the same type of motor and drive system that you would find in a jet ski or something like that. They also obviously have jet boats as well, which is what this is based off of. There's no outboard propeller on the outside of the boat, which is kind of cool. Not only do you not have to worry about running over things, but also because the jet is going through this nozzle, it kind of gives you like this thrust vectoring, so it's extremely maneuverable. As long as you have a little bit of throttle, you're gonna have a ton of precision control, which is a lot of fun, and it's fun to do donuts and stuff like that in the water. Handles really well. The only thing to consider is that if you cut the motor, you're not gonna have any kind of control or steering. So as for the experience of this little tiny boat, I've been having a ton of fun. And like I said earlier, I'm new to boats in general. And just like a lot of different other corners of the hobby that I've experienced, RC boats seem to have a lot of commonalities with other forms of RC, but also there are a lot of differences and a lot of things that make experiencing the RC boat world unique. And so the thing specifically that I liked about this particular tiny little boat is that one, it's a jet boat, and two, it had this deep V hull design, which kind of looks very scale. And I've seen over the past decade or so these videos of actual boats, people running these actual jet boats, running them up streams and creeks and rivers, and it looks like a ton of fun. And so right off the bat, I was interested in this because of the way it performs, and then also kind of the minimal scale looks. It kind of has some scale detail going on, which I like. And the other cool thing that I've liked about experiencing boats is that I'm beginning to see how boats, much like RC airplanes and RC cars, they can have a lot of different unique experiences depending on the design of the boat. Now, I am by no means a hydrodynamics expert, but I could see how, much like an airplane, you know, you have all these different airplane configuration and fixed wing configurations. And when you fly those, it's truly a different flying experience every single time. And that's what I like about flying airplanes. And I can see how, even though this is the kind of the first boat that I've experienced, I could see how like a catamaran would be a very, very different driving experience than this little tiny boat. And so I'm looking forward to trying more. If you guys are using boats of any kind, leave them down in the comments below, because I've been eyeing different products and I'm open to suggestions on what I try next. Now, one thing to set straight about this boat is it is not fast, like at all. It's just not a fast boat. I mean, I guess you could consider it fast for its size. If you were to scale up the size and the speed of this thing, then I guess on paper it could be going fast in terms of scale. But in terms of reality, when you're just looking at this boat going around, it's very, very slow, maybe 5 miles an hour. I don't know. That being said, if you can get past the lack of speed, it is a ton of fun to maneuver this, specifically in small creeks and rivers like this and ponds. Just having fun in a couple inches of water, which is pretty cool that you can do that with these little boats. The other thing to note about this is, like I kind of alluded to it earlier, but the jet mechanism that is driving this thing, it's nice because it gives it like a little torque considering its size, but it also gives it a ton of control. And honestly, it's almost too much control at first. It takes some getting used to. It is very, very touchy with all that jet propulsion, but it doesn't take long to get used to it. And you want to use very, very fine little adjustments when you're driving this thing. And then you can get it to actually perform well and not always kind of be spinning out all the time. The other thing I like about it too is because it is a jet boat, you don't have to worry as much about hitting the prop on stuff. Like I said, there's no external propeller hanging out underneath the boat. And so you can run it into rocks, you can run it over some seaweed, you can run it over anything. And so far, I haven't had any issues. Now, you can get rocks, tiny little pebbles and sediment that get sucked up there. And I would suppose that it would potentially damage your propeller. But ultimately, I haven't run into any of those issues. And I haven't really been gentle with this thing. I've kind of ran it over everything and it seems to still be working just fine. So all in all, the fun per dollar ratio on this little guy, like I said earlier, is very high. And this is something that I'd really, really recommend if you're looking for, something RC that's not gonna break the bank. Now, that being said, if you're new, if maybe you don't have anything RC yet, I do wanna note that this isn't like an end all be all hobby product. Like this isn't something I'd recommend if you are looking to buy your one and only RC boat. I think it could leave you a little bit underwhelmed. Like I said, it's not very big and it's not very fast. And if you're looking for something that is super impressive and maybe just like a little bit more versatile, I would maybe suggest looking at something a little bit bigger with a little bit more performance or scale detail, depending on what you want. This is nice because it's a tiny package and it's kind of like an all-in-one package. You get a little bit of performance, you get a little bit of scale detail, and it's a ton of fun. So anyways, that's that. Tiny little boat. I know it's simple, but I was just out here at the creek having some fun and I figured maybe you guys would like these little bite-sized videos. So if you'd like to see more videos like this where I just kind of share what I've been experiencing, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys are into boats. What kind of boats do you like and why down in the comments below. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. And until the next one, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you.